Zimbabwean nationals are voting in local government by-elections. Some analysts say the elections could signal what to expect in next year's presidential elections. ZANU PF has two-thirds majority in parliament following the 2018 elections. There are already concerns from opposition leaders that the country's electoral commission has not provided political parties as well as candidates with a voter's roll. About 133 seats are up for grabs, and political leaders have been crisscrossing the country to garner support. Meanwhile, opposition leaders say their freedom to engage with the electorate is being suppressed by the current regime.
Tomorrow we face the regime in Harare after the illegal recall of our members of parliament and councillors. The Citizens Coalition for Change is ready to garner the majority of the seats that we are contesting to, despite the challenges of an unfair environment, the challenges of thwarting of our freedom of assembly and freedom of speech, despite the harvest of fear and marshalling of key state institutions to try and go against the will of the people. But we have no doubt in our minds, as the alternative is led by Advocate Nelson Chamisa, that tomorrow the people of Zimbabwe, the citizens of this country, are sending an emphatic call to the dictatorship in Harare that the time for authoritarian leadership is over and it's time for citizens to usher in a democratic breakthrough in our country.
We're now joined by journalist Privilege Musvanhiri in Harare's Epworth suburb. It is one of the swing urban constituencies expected to be won by the ruling party, that's ZANU PF. Traditionally, urban constituencies usually go to the opposition. Privilege, pleasure to have you on the program this afternoon. Now, these by-elections are already being described as a litmus test that will provide a hint of what is to come in the 2023 elections. Firstly, talk us through how the elections have proceeded so far.
Yes, Shansha, so far from morning, looking at the polling stations that I've been to and observing what has been happening, the voting has been going on peacefully, and even the Zimbabwe Republic Police reports that there's not been any incidences across the country where the by-elections are happening. Talking to presiding officers, they are saying that people are coming in not in as huge numbers that you would expect in any general election. It's a trickle. People coming in small numbers. There were no any long queues from morning. Very few people are being turned away because of various reasons. Some without IDs, some without proper IDs, and some is because probably that polling station is not the correct polling station that they are supposed to go.
Now, for context, 3/4 of the country's 270 legislators are elected into office. A tenth of those seats are also up for grabs, as well as the 5% of the more than 1,900 seats. Why are these elections so significant?
Analysts say that these elections are so significant in the sense that in the past 3 years, we have seen a lot of recalls from the opposition, and there's been a decimation of the representation of the opposition in parliament. And because of also the factional, breaking up of the opposition, there isn't been the opposition's authority, and even its strength in parliament has been weakened. So it's also a test case because of the emerging party, the CCC, the Citizens Coalition for Change, which has just emerged, which is promising to be a strong opposition coming to 2023 when the country is going to be holding its presidential election. So it's a test case in the sense that this is going to show whoever is going to emerge as the strongest opposition to the ruling party coming to the general elections next year.
Now, Privilege, previous elections in Zimbabwe have been marred by violence as well as reports of vote rigging. Have there been such incidences that have emerged during the current elections?
At the moment, yes, the environment leading up to this by-election today the opposition, yes, is right to say that the ground is not even, because we have seen some of the rallies that the opposition were attempting to hold, they were being blocked. So hence they have, a reason to say that already the ground is not even. But then if you look at the environment today as the voting is happening, it's incidences so far that you can pick out.
Now, Privilege, as we wrap up, you mentioned that there are new players taking part in these elections, and this January we saw the launch of Nelson Chamisa's Triple C party. Now, Chamisa has become the face of a citizenry which is repeatedly frustrated by the policies of the ruling ZANU PF, which has been in power since the country's independence. What is your assessment of the party's participation in these elections?
They've come into this election, it's hardly maybe 3 months when they had launched as a political formation. So you find that they are still riding from the following that Chamisa had when he was still in the movement for democratic change that he has since left now. So it goes to, we still have to see as the months go by, even as we go to the next general elections. But the crowds that have been coming to his rallies, those that the rallies that he managed to hold before today's election, he has, proved that he still have got a big following coming after him. So we have to assess maybe in the coming months as they continue to, solicit for support from the citizenry.
That was Harare-based journalist Privilege Musvanhiri giving us all the latest as those by-elections continue in Zimbabwe. And of course, we have heard allegations that material has already come in short supply in some regions. But we will continue keeping a close watch on the situation in the neighboring Zimbabwe.